When I look back on my childhood, I think about a couple of occasions that really had me to look at the word truthfulness. And I've shared before that when I was a little girl, I approached a family member of my father's and told her that my father was abusing my mother. Now, at the moment, I thought, I felt good about myself because it felt so good to say the truth, to feel empowered. Because when I originally said it while driving, and she was driving us to her daycare center. And when I originally said it, I guess I must have said it real low, or maybe she didn't, she wasn't sure that I said it, or wow, is this coming from a child? I don't know what she was thinking, but she said, "What did you just say?" She asked me that. "What did you just say?" And I stood up taller in the seat and I said, my father was abusing our mother. And in that moment, I felt confident. I felt empowered. I felt good about myself, and there's a Bible verse that says that, gives us that the truth will set you free. And at that moment, I felt free. I felt, wow, weight had been lifted off of me. And I was finally able to say, I guess, what I had been seeing as a child. Now, I do not remember those specific incidences where my father, you know, abused my mother according to what she said, physically, mentally, emotionally. I mean, coming to her like with boxing gloves, ready to fight her and to hit her. And then the next moment, or the next experience I remember, is sitting in the kitchen chair, my back facing the door, and my father's arms wailing, and just the fire that was coming from him, seeing him in rage. And how I remember the words that I had no business telling someone what happened at home. And in a moment, I went inside thinking I had done something wrong. And I went inside and I came out saying, no, thinking to myself, no, I was right. No one has the right to abuse someone. I remember believing and thinking that, and nevertheless, I entered my own painful experience, and I think it was birthed out of, part of this divine plan. My curiosity, how I could see that, my father wasn't ready to admit the truth, that it wasn't me, but yet still there was some doubt that entered me when I went inside. Seeds of doubt. Because when it came to my own experience with pain, I withheld that information for a very long time until actually someone else brought it out of the darkness. They shined light on what was going on in our situation. And even, the courage to confirm, yes, it did happen, this dark secret. I was told that we were liars, so that was another hit. And I was like, hold on, I just remember hearing that word sitting with me, kind of pouncing around inside of me, and I didn't like it. And then actually, I said there was two. There was another incident where the person had already denied his involvement in the situation. And one day outside, while we were playing around, it was almost like it was slow motion. And he came over before I knew it, he was in front of me, and he turned around and said, "It wasn't that bad." And in a moment's time, I knew, I said, he just admitted the truth without saying the exact words of what happened. And I guess, how every experience, I believe, builds on the next one. And this life journey, we're in the school and we learn and we apply things that we learn. We apply the seeds of truth that are in our hearts and our minds, and coupled with, someone that I love, my father not sharing the truth, with someone else that was family saying that I was a liar, and someone else who did something and didn't want to admit to it and finally said something to it and later still says that he was not part of it. um, I remember thinking, I want to know the truth. And I prayed to God that I wanted to seek the truth. And it was all part of these series of events, getting the Bible, getting a copy of the Lord's Prayer on a bookmark, and learning that within 15 minutes, and then learning about the life of Jesus. And just wanting to be aligned with this power that I felt, that I knew, that loved me, and wanted to be aligned with the universe, wanting to be aligned with truth, asking to be aligned with the universe, praying to see the truth, to seek the truth. And, mantras that came out of that. Well, you don't know, I'm sharing with you, but mantras that came out of that in say what you mean and mean what you say. Now, does that mean that every single thing I have held to that I've said? No, it's something that I aim for. As a person, as a spirit, wrapped in, as a spirit, covered with my dressing for this earthly journey, my nose, the color of my skin, all of this is background, the family that I'm part of, but trying to speak the truth, to seek the truth, to be the truth, to embody truth, to express truth is a journey. And the aim is to really say what I mean and mean what I say, to really remind not only myself, but others, my children and others around me, of who we are, the essence at the core of who we are, that we are the truth. We are the image, made in the image of truth and light. And so I've been sharing with you over the past year. It's actually been over a year now, because we've kind of went back with my children about these virtues. I printed out over a year ago 52, a list of 52 virtues. I had got the idea when I was actually going to church in Ohio, and it was going to be part of the Sunday school lesson. Well, that kind of fell through because we ended up moving. We ended up, there were some things that happened, and part of it was we ended up moving to Oregon. And so doing the shutdown was a great time, and homeschooling our children was a great time to really bring up these virtues. And we've been talking about a few weeks. I have like 3 dates, but we've been talking about truthfulness. We've been going in alphabetical order, and we've been talking about truthfulness. And the definition, as you know, is being honest in your words and actions. You don't tell lies, even to defend yourself, even to make yourself look good. We see that a lot in the world. We say things, and we'll read about someone that said something, or they'll say, "Oh, I just said it just to say it. It just sounded good." And you're just like, ah. But how often do we do that? We tell our children that we're going to do something for them, and then we say, well, I'm not in the mood to do it. I really don't want to do it. Something else deters us from something that we said we're going to do. And I remember reading, I think it's Florence Shin, the first time I saw that, or another book where it said, your word is law. God says he doesn't change his mind like humans. And throughout the Bible, it tells us that it shares with us that we are to be like our creator. We were made in his image. We have the ability within us to speak the truth. Truthfulness means don't listen to gossip or prejudice. There's so many rumors that are going around, that have landed people, untrue statements have landed people in jail, have landed people in the grave, because we often are protecting our own image, that we that we end up destroying someone else's, right? We're projecting our pain, our inability, our frustration, our denial, our guilt, our shame. We're projecting that through, saying something that is untrue through the words. Truthfulness, don't try to be more than who you are to impress others. I mean, you talk about our chronic and acute diseases, that are emotional undertone of guilt, of shame, of depression, inner, sadness towards ourselves, anger, violence, rage. We wonder where all these conditions, including rare conditions, come from. And it is the underlying neurological biochemistry of our body that basically expresses our emotions through our physical conditions. Louise Hay talked about it in You Can Heal Your Life. She talked about it in offering suggestions as to how you can overcome certain physical conditions. We hear it through, Smith Wigglesworth. We've heard it through James Allen. We've heard it through so many different writers, teachers, spiritual leaders about the power of our words and our thoughts. We are ourselves. We try to be our true selves. We're not trying to impress others by working all day, working all night. We have insomnia that's affecting millions, diabetes, stress. It's an inflammatory condition. It's more than just what you eat, because often when we're stressed, we do overeat, but it's also to a combination of other things that we do when we are not paying attention to our health, when we're lacking discernment in what we should eat, what we should be around. We have so many issues that are going on, and often it's because why we're not being true to ourselves, because we have the message that the truth will set us free. If we really sit down and ask ourselves, should I be eating this? Should I be doing this? Should I be smoking this? Should I be drinking this? Should I be sitting down and not exercising? If we really ask ourselves the statements, we seek the truth, because Matthew 7:7 tells us if we ask, we will receive, we will get. If we knock, the door will be answered. If we seek, we shall find it. The truth is available to everyone, every single one. You don't have to be a certain way, or look a certain way, or be in your 70s to have wisdom. It is there for anybody, young and old, who seeks it. It shall be found. It is within you. You have access to it. And that's why we try to impress on our children, because it's so easy as children, say, no, mom, I didn't do that. And they did it, but they don't want to get in trouble. And it's about cultivating that relationship so that our children feel comfortable not only telling us about stuff that they experienced that other people have done or projected their pain on them, but also what they did. Did you just call your sister outside her name? Did you just touch her? Did you just hit her? Did you just kick her? Yes, mom. Let's talk about that. Because often it's about punishment, beat, 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 hit, whoop, whoop, whoop. But are we getting to the root of that? And someone had said before that, if we as parents continue to address situations with, whoopings and no discussion, no conversation, and then you wonder how come people, the first thing they want to do is they want to hit, right? If somebody does something to them, they want to hit, they want to shoot, they want to express their anger in violent forms and hitting, versus really having the conversation and saying, you know what, I felt like you did this to me. I did it because I was hurting. I did it because she did it. Does it make it right? Are we doing things that are helpful versus harmful? Even in marriages, truth, telling the truth, speaking the truth before we actually commit what it is that we're doing. I'm not happy. I wish you could do this. Let's have a conversation. Are we having those conversations at home with our children so that they can respond to events in a more positive, helpful, nonviolent way? And so we create a generational love cycle, and I've talked about this, by changing the thoughts that created the cycle of pain in the first place. We talk about depression, anxiety, panic attacks, headaches, heart disease, cancer. All of these conditions that we see, they have thoughts behind them, that we're unworthy, that we deserve stuff, that we shall feel bad because somebody else is going through something and we need to go through it too. Or we hold on to regret And we're so blinded that we can't see that our child is being hurt, or going through an abusive situation, or maybe they're saying things that are very harmful and almost violent, on the lines of violence, that we are neglecting. We're not watching that. We're not careful. We're not observant. We're not present. Truthfulness allows us to be present. Truthfulness sets the chains free. That we're not binded by impressing others. We're not binded by a tradition that doesn't work to embrace change, embrace the diversity. We have the problem with diversity in the first place because of the thoughts that created this divisiveness. So truth, believing, understanding, spirituality, that we're here for divine missions with divine gifts, for a divine purpose. We are here as parents to leave a legacy more than just financial, but one that is worth fighting for, and often that is character. That we have a lot of people that have a lot of money, that are rich, but are dying on the inside. Dying on the inside because of the lack of character, the lack of truth in their lives, expressing the truth. We do it at one person at a time by breaking this cycle, by acknowledging what's going on, and by seeking within us, spending time daily within us, and really posing those questions, those things that you grew up with, those thoughts, those behaviors that you question about. Put the question out there. The truth is there. You know the truth. And it takes a lot of courage, a lot of determination, a lot of perseverance, a lot of faith and trust to believe in something far greater than our traditions, than our socializations, than our mother, our father, our uncles, our aunts, our grandparents, the history of America. It takes something far greater to believe, to embrace, to express truth. Truth is love. This is Tamika Chambers with Create a Generational Love Cycle. You can find me on Fulfill Your Divine Purpose. I do have a Facebook group that I will pop in. I do a heart-to-heart talk conversation periodically. And I also just send out inspirational thoughts throughout the week. I hope you and yours are well. And I hope that you really will think about the word truthfulness and assess where where that needs to be strengthened in your life. I mean, we're growing. As I even talk, I'm thinking about my life, and I'm thinking about your life, and I'm thinking if we can just come together and do individual assessments, and we can really seek what is the truth and how to express it in such a way that it edifies, that it builds instead of destroy, we can make this world a better place. Take care.